I'm not going there yet.
No,
Mentally, for me, I'm not.
neither.
I'll tell you what Whaley said in a bit. What do you think?
No, I'm not going there yet either. I don't know how much his foot injury has impacted his year. I don't know. He looks different to me, but it's still only half of his second season. I got to ride this out a little longer than that before I start thinking bust. I'm not even close to that point yet.
Am I close to that point? No. But there's a wide gap between bust and worthy of a first round pick.
There's no doubt.
I think I'm already at he wasn't worthy of that pick. I'm already there. Because when I argued for that, Ron, it was on the argument. I think the only time nowadays you pick a guy in the first round is if he's different from everybody else. He's special.
He was the best guy coming out, supposedly, although Etienne was very good too. It's still the old argument about do you pick a running back in the first round?
Only if he's different, and this guy's not.
And it hasn't been so far.
He's not. What separates him from
nothing?
Other running backs,
nothing.
Most other. I didn't expect Derrick Henry. I already knew coming out of the draft that this guy was not a home run hitter. That's okay. Neither was Le'Veon Bell. Neither was Jerome.
I just wonder how much that offensive line has just, taken its toll on him.
No doubt.
Not just the physical beating, but the mental beating.
Yes.
When he gets the handoff and he knows he's going to get hit barely before he gets started. And I liked, I don't know, was it Dulac's suggestion actually it was Bill Cowher's suggestion, put Pickett under center and give Najee a running start on a handoff as opposed to having him in a shotgun and handing it to him. Maybe that would help. I just wonder if he's spooked, if you will, by his offensive line and the beating he's taken.
I know. We've talked about that. I literally, and I love the running back position. I've loved watching it since I was a kid. And
got OJ on your mind.
Well, OJ came into the league and didn't do crap for about 3 years because his team didn't have a mentality to run the ball and they didn't have an offensive line. That sounds familiar, right?
Hey, I go back to the greatest running back of all time. I remember Jim Brown. And I think he led the league 9 years in a row in rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, he just was the best of all time. So, I mean, I've seen great running backs. I mean, we've seen him here. Franco was a great running back, Hall of Famer. Jerome, Hall of Famer. Le'Veon was a great running back. I don't see any of that yet from Najee.
O.J. Simpson, forgetting what he became later, if you just look at his football career, his first three, and I think a top 5 running back of all time. I could make an argument he might be the greatest of all time. But anyway, how many 100-yard games in his first 3 years? And this is a guy who wound up as the all-time or second all-time leading rusher when he retired. How many in his first 3 years?
The way you're teasing me with that, I'm gonna probably say 5.
3.
3.
3. That's it.
Averaged 1 a year for 3 years.
And part of the problem was he never got the ball. Like, I'm looking at his numbers, and it's the same. His third year in the league, he never had 20 carries. He played all 14 games. He never had 20 carries. So I honestly believe
might believe poor coaching there.
Yeah, it was the guy, whoever was before Lou Saban, and then Lou Saban came in and said, you know what, we're going to run, we're going to build an offensive line, and you're getting the ball all the time. And I honestly believe, as trite and cliche as it might sound, that guys like Sean O'Hara and Chris Hoke and many others are right when they say this will begin for the Steelers, if it ever does, having a running game again, with the desire to have a running game. Committing to it, yes.
Committing to it.
And what does that mean?
Again, I see that. Believe me, I see that. And I hear Hoke say, Cowher, we're going to run the ball in the first quarter. We might only average a yard or 2. We're going to run it in the second quarter. We might only average 3. But in the second half, we're going to start breaking off runs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can keep beating your head against the wall in the first half with the passing game and the young quarterback that they have.
Right. Well,
when is too much of a commitment?
As currently constructed, I don't know that they can do what Cowher wants them to do. But I ask.
But you also don't want Pickett to throw it 45 times a game.
I ask, where does the commitment to a running game begin? What's the first step?
Well, the coaches have to believe in it. They have, like Cowher believed in it. Would he believe in it with this team? I'm not sure of that.
I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have constructed this team as such.
It has to start with a commitment from the coaches.
That's
We're
right.
going to run the ball But the whole game has changed. These guys can't practice. They can't hit anymore because of the union rules.
I don't look at that as an excuse. San
I'm not
Francisco
saying it's an
runs,
excuse,
Baltimore
but
runs,
it's a little different. Yeah,
the
Cleveland
Eagles run,
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Dallas runs.
But it's still a different game than when Cowher was here.
It is, but I don't think that should mean a different mentality. I really don't. I think you're absolutely right. It has to begin with the head coach, the GM, and the owner. And we've heard the owner say he wants a better running game many times, saying we need to do this better. We're not going to be the 1974 Steelers, but we have to run, and let's make this a priority. Ron, they already did. They drafted a running back in the first round. That would indicate to me they want to have a running game, but they haven't. They haven't drafted the right offensive lineman,
or the right offensive line coach,
or the right offensive line coach, or the right coordinator. Randy Fiechner was throw short, run long. I don't know what this guy is, So it begins with a mentality, and without that, you're not going to have a really good running game. I don't care who your running back is. I keep hearing things like this guy has no burst. He's got no this, no that. I saw a lot of that last year. I did. There was a play, I can't remember which game, where he took a pass on the sidelines. It might have been the Raiders game last year, and Najee outran everybody to the sticks. He's not a sprinter by any means, but he absolutely has burst to his game. He's got elusiveness to his game, and he's got power. I've seen all three. I have, but not this year so much.
Willing to take hit after hit after hit, physical.
Yeah, he's got that, I think, but I haven't seen it consistently enough, and I haven't seen it hardly at all this year. Is he injured?
That's the factor we don't know for sure. But you got to judge him. He's out there.
He hasn't gotten the ball 20 times in a game this year, and they've been in games. They were in a 23-20 game, 17-14. The Cleveland game was close until the late stages of the fourth quarter. The Jets was 24-20. Tampa Bay was 20-18. And Miami was 16-10.
They've been blown out twice.
They haven't run the ball. They don't want to run. Why? Why draft a running back in the first round if you're not going to commit to a running game? That's what I don't get here. I don't get it. They're dropping their rookie quarterback back there a million times every game. It makes no sense to me. And I don't know how they're going to straighten it out. And this goes back now 5 years. They've had a horse crap running game.
Well, their whole team has changed. It used to be built on running the ball and stopping the run. And last year, they were worst in the league against stopping the run. They're not the physical football team that we have come to expect the Steelers to be.
Right.
And Chris Hoke has talked about that.
Right.
And that's where you ask
not just offense, defense too.
Right. You ask where it starts, and it starts there, man. I'm telling you. Just watching other NFL teams, you realize how soft this Steelers team is.
They really are. And it starts up front. And if we're just talking about offense right now, it does. It starts up front. They failed to find the right guys. But even before that, it starts with the head coach's mentality and what kind of scheme he wants and what kind of running game he wants.
And to preach that physicality.
And it's just derelict of duty to draft a running back in the first round and then not make all the right moves to put that guy in position to succeed. And he might not be good. I don't know, Najee Harris. But they certainly have not surrounded him with the right line coach, coordinator, and now the quarterback is in question.